Anthropic just built an AI model so dangerous, they refuse to release it publicly. And they're giving it to Apple, Google, Microsoft, and the US government instead. Let me walk you through exactly what Claude Mythos found, why Anthropic locked it behind a coalition called Project Glasswing, and what this means for every builder shipping code right now. Starting with the benchmarks, under agentic coding, you can clearly see how Mythos preview is sort of killing Opus 4.6. It's outranking, out-benchmarking each and every metric out there. Even in the reasoning part, it's far better. If you see humanities last exam, it's sort of killing it. And even in agentic search and computer reviews, Mythos is far better than Opus 4.6. These are the partners who are gonna get the access to the Mythos preview. Anthropic also committed $100 million in model usage credits to Project Glasswing. And to see the pricing, they've mentioned over here, the input and output token cost per million is $25 and $125, which is really costly, much costlier than Opus 4.5. So using it directly via API is again gonna be very costly. And based on the vulnerabilities that Mythos has been able to find, the ROI is far better whatever the pricing is out there. Mythos preview found a 27-year-old vulnerability in OpenBSD. This is the oldest bug that Mythos has been able to find. Another one it found in FFmpeg. People have been testing these softwares for decades now and no one was able to find. And Mythos found it really quickly. This tells us that your code, which is maybe 6 months or a year old or maybe even 5 years old, if you have not been testing your code really well, if your testing has been really shallow, you are going to be a target whenever the features from this Mythos preview gets added into Opus. So get ready for that. Make sure you start using Opus 4.6 or any other model to strengthen your code, make it safer from being a target. Another one it found a vulnerability in Linux kernel. Linux kernel is something that runs most of the world server, right? So this was the most important, not the oldest, but the most important finding it did. And just note that this is in preview right now. And this is the reason Anthropic is not releasing it publicly, because if this can find these kind of bugs, people can use it to exploit these kind of bugs. So that's the reason they're putting it behind a coalition at this point of time, so that the partners are able to fix most of their open bugs before the general public gets access to parts of it, because they have made it really clear that they are not going to make this generally available. So as a builder, what I think is, if your code base is not being tested properly using AI, especially using AI, because there are software suites out there which you can use to test your code bases, but it has to be a combination of probabilistic and deterministic testing. Don't rely heavily on just AI. You have to use AI so that the limitations of deterministics are fulfilled. So make sure to use the most advanced AI models to start testing your code bases against all kind of potential exploitation that could exist. And don't wait for Mythos. Start using whatever model you can do in your CI/CD pipeline for security audits. And whenever these Mythos level capabilities becomes available in maybe, let's say, Claude Opus future models, you'll already have the basic infrastructure fixed. So you'll be ahead of 90% or 99% of the builders out there.